All right, guys, let's get it.
Hey, so in this video I want to talk about why the no contact rule works, why it's so effective at rebuilding attraction, saving relationships, even saving marriages, and how you can implement the no contact rule the right way, because if you implement the no contact rule the right way, it will have a devastating effect on your relationship in a positive way. Now, you might have heard the saying, the silence is deafening. What you don't say is more powerful than what you say. People have this misconception that just because you're not saying anything when you implement the no contact rule, that the other person isn't going to receive any message from you and they're going to walk away, forget about you, and leave you and move on to somebody else. That's not.
And yesterday well, you guys are seeing it today, but the video that I made, right, covering Aaron's video, and talks about energy, right? Taking your energy back, putting it onto yourself, focusing on you, focusing on your own goals, right? So when you project your energy out to other people, we perceive that person is not getting the message, or that we have to go do something in order for them to. Corey Wayne does call this the illusion of action, right? But in order for us to feel like something's happening, we need to see communication. But silence is deafening. It's a very, very cool thing. Actually, you can use this. A lot of the stuff that you guys are going to learn are actually sales skills, right? So when I was selling phones, now this is fucking cell phones, right? But people used to think that I could come down a certain notch, but you just have to use your sales skills in order to say, look, this is what the deal is. If you don't want it, it's cool, right? You have to be able to do the takeaway. You have to be able to use silence. You have to be able to say, look, this is not, I'm not budging on this. And if you don't want to, then the sale's not going to get done. Do you want it bad enough or not? Now, when you say to a woman, I want to work on things, normally they're going to say, look, no, you know what? I'm just going to focus on me. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to focus on my own life. I'm going to take my time. They are probably going to see other people. Let's be real here. And when you are desperate for the deal, aka the relationship, they are going to be turned off by you. They're not going to be turned on by you. They're going to be like, look, why do you so badly want this relationship to work when clearly you shouldn't want me the way I'm treating you? You shouldn't want to be around me. You shouldn't want to give your money to me. You shouldn't want to give your energy to me. Right? So every single time I've ever had somebody in my life that I felt like was taking advantage of me in any kind of way, I just let them go. Because I actually do have the abundant mindset to know that there are good people out there. And yes, they're harder to find, but they're out there.
What happens. In fact, if you talk to them and you try to always initiate contact, text them, call them on the phone, reach out to them, that's when you drive them away into the arms of somebody else, and they lose interest in you. Now, the reason the no contact rule is highly effective at building attraction is because it gets the person's mind focused on you. If you want to get a woman's mind focused on you and her attention onto you, then the no contact rule is one of the most effective ways to do this.
And remember why, right? You guys watched the video yesterday and it was about how energy works. See, when your energy is intermingled or intertwined with somebody else and now it's gone and you're not projecting your energy out to them anymore, your thoughts, right? Now, it's going to be very hard to do this sometimes. Sometimes you're going to be consumed by the thoughts. Just make sure you're not reaching out to them physically.
Now, they've done research into anxiety and attraction, and they have found that if you create a sense of anxiety in a relationship, then your girlfriend is much more likely to find you attractive because her attention is going to come back onto you. Whereas before she loses interest in you, she starts thinking about other people, other guys, her interest goes elsewhere, she starts to lose attraction for you. How do you get her attention focused back on you? It doesn't have to be your girlfriend, it can be a wife, it can be any woman. And if you've read my book, Atomic Attraction, you'll know exactly how to implement the no contact rule the right way to build attraction. How do you get her attention focused back onto you? Well, you create a sense of anxiety. And in cases where a girl's lost attraction for you, right? Because she doesn't find you interesting, you've been too responsive, which kills attraction. How do you get her focused back on you? You implement the no contact rule and you raise your value. Why is that? Because people who are scarce, people who are less available, are seen as more attractive. And the same applies to people who are hard to get. They're also seen as more attractive. They've done the research into this. It's not just hocus pocus or something I've made up out of thin air. One of the great benefits of my job is that I can see the effect that no contact has on a girl firsthand.
So can I. So I see this all the time. And in a lot of guys that don't believe it, right? The one thing I want to say to you, if you're skeptical about no contact, because look, there are some times where the person that you're trying to do no contact, sorry, there's a fruit fly, the person you're trying to do no contact with, your ex or whatever, doesn't come back. Sometimes that happens, right? That's one of the things. And then people that have gone through it will say, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, right? Because they wanted so badly for it to work and then it didn't. So did you truly let go then? Right? Did you truly take your energy back? Right? The people that don't believe it, which it's completely okay to be skeptical of things. I don't like people. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I don't like it when people are so far on one spectrum and so far on the other side, right? So there's always going to be the middle ground, and that's how people progress and learn. So the people that say that are usually people that they never really did it correctly in the first place. They never were able to pull away properly and take their energy back and focus on their own goals, their own life long enough. So that's a big proponent. And no contact is just a tool. All it means is you're going to stop projecting your energy out to them, and you're just going to start projecting it back on, not projecting, but putting it back onto yourself. So you'll hear a lot, guys. You're going to see a lot in the comment section. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Just remember, does chasing and pursuing work, right? No, it just pushes them further away. So you might as well just do the exact opposite. Now, don't go too far over and think that ignoring them completely is going to make them like you, because it doesn't, right? If they reach out to you and say, hey, how's it going? And you're just like, they're going to think that you hate them now or don't want to speak to them. And they're just going to move on, right? Because they're not going to beg for you back. They're the ones in the power position. In order to get your power back, if somebody reaches back out to you, you do have to respond, okay?
I get to see situations where guys implement the no contact rule, and it has an amazing effect because it restores attraction, it rebuilds attraction, it gets a girl's attention back onto you. I had one reader tell me that he was just getting to know a girl, and they started talking, and he found that it was just fading away. She was losing interest after a week. He couldn't really meet up with her. She was just showing a lack of interest, but when he met her, she was really interested. How did he fix the problem? He implemented no contact. He went silent, cut contact, waited for her to reach out to him, so she feels subconsciously in her mind that she's the one chasing him and that he's lost.
So let me go back just a sec. I want to just nail this point. I know you guys want to watch this. I'm sorry, but I want to nail this point, because in order for a woman to be attracted to you, right? Let's say she has a certain pace that she goes at when she thinks about you. Let's say she thinks about you just for simplicity's sake for the men, let's say she thinks about you every 5 hours, okay? And every time she thinks about you, she misses you. She's like, I haven't heard from him all day long. I haven't heard anything. I wonder how he's doing. Why hasn't he messaged me? All these things are going to go through her head, right? I know it sounds like a game, but this is the way it works. Women in their feminine energy wants to bond and connect with you. Masculine energy, and men and women have both. We need it. We do need it, okay? Because we need to want to bond and connect. If we were just purely masculine, all we would do is just be fucking Terminator robots building shit and destroying shit all the fucking time. So when she thinks about you, let's just, for example, say every 5 hours, and you reach out to her every 2 or 3 hours, it's never going to be her idea on her own organically that she's thinking about you. She's going to go, oh, hey, and she'll respond to you. And if she never gets those times, right? And sometimes it's not just 5 hours. Maybe on one day it's 5 hours. Maybe the next day it's 10. Maybe she's with family all day, and then the next day it's 2. That's why guys are so confused. So instead of guys just saying, I'm just going to let you be you, right? They go, I need to close the gap. I need to do this because I'm insecure or whatever they're feeling. So that's what I work with in my videos. Sorry, not my video. My coaching program. I do that with my students there because we focus heavily on just being goal oriented, and it's almost so simple that guys just feel they're like, what do I need to do? I'm like, you need to read these books and you need to be focused on your own life. You need to understand what to say and what to do when she comes back around, if she comes back around. Until then, this is what you're doing. And guys they're like, what? What? I'm like, yeah, it's simple. It's a simple thing, right?
Waited for her to reach out to him, so she feels subconsciously in her mind that she's the one chasing him and that he's lost interest in her. Instead of moving on to somebody else, she starts to focus on him because she feels a sense of anxiety. Will I ever see this guy again? Has he forgotten about me? Has he met somebody else? Her attention comes back onto him and she reaches out to him. Another guy told me just the other day that he used the no contact rule to get his girlfriend back, and it worked. She lost all attraction for him. She refused to be intimate with him. She decided to move out of the apartment. She didn't want to have anything to do with him. And instead of reaching out to her and chasing her, he did the opposite, the counterintuitive thing, the thing that she didn't expect him to do. She expects him to reach out, contact her all the time, try to persuade her to come back to him. He didn't do that. What he did is he went no contact. He created a sense of anxiety, a sense of mystery, a sense of challenge again, and she started to focus on him. And she starts to think, hang on a minute, maybe I got this wrong. Maybe he's not as interested in me as I thought he was. She starts to get anxious. Instead of him being anxious, she's focused on him. She starts to...
And let's talk about that anxiety just for a second. anxiety has obviously got a very negative light shone on it right now. So I don't want you guys to think it's purely negative. Okay. When you haven't heard from somebody, it creates a little bit of a sense of anxiety. Okay. So if you're dating a woman and she hasn't spoken to you in, almost the entire day, and you get that, you feel it in your gut, that's a little bit of anxiety, right? Now, some people suffer from certain types or more extreme forms of anxiety, and then they're in a relationship, and then when that feeling gets triggered, they feel anxious, and then sometimes they'll break up with you because of that kind of stuff, right? Because they have their own baggage and issues to deal with. But normal women who have a decent, stable emotional center are going to... This information will work much better on people like that, because they're not going to automatically assume that it's something wrong with them. It's people that have low self-esteem, that don't think very highly of themselves, that some of this information won't work on them. People with borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, and all those other fucking disorders, right? People you shouldn't be dating anyway, because those people are only going to make your life a train wreck. Okay, it's a roller coaster. I've been with a person like that. It will tear you apart emotionally. You won't know what to expect. They fuck with you so heavily, not even on purpose. Okay, so I have people ask me, what about BPDs? Don't date them. Don't date them. Seriously, it's guys that ask that question, what about, they want to fix that situation and they want to fix that person. Don't go. It is much easier and better to go out with a person who's normal. Okay. Because those people have to do that work on themselves. Maybe it's medication. Maybe it's spiritual work. I don't know. Right. It's not your job.
Back to him because she wants to resolve the relationship and she wants to fix the problem because he's given her space and he implemented no contact the right way. So if you want to know more about using the no contact rule the right way to build attraction, click on the link below or on the...
I highly recommend getting his book. It's in one of my staples. In the pinned comments, I think I forgot to put it in the last video. In the pinned comments, you should see a whole list as well as my Red Pill channel. Okay? So I'll see you guys over there. Have a good day. If you want coaching, it is down below in the description box. Done.